Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Town of Vesuvius Committee of the Whole meeting, July the 27th, 2021, 9 a.m. in council chambers. We need a resolution to exclude the public, please, that in accordance with Ministerial Order M192, Town of Vesuvius Committee of the Whole meeting be closed to the public due to the inability to meet physical distancing recommendations made under the Public Health Act in council chambers located at 8707 Main Street, and that to ensure openness, transparency, accessibility, and accountability, the Town of Vesuvius Committee of the Whole meetings will be recorded, streamed, and published on the town's website. Thank you, Councillor King. Councillor Rhodes, all in favor? Thank you. And approval of the agenda and late items. Are there any late items, Mrs. Hilson? No. Thank you. So could we have a motion, please, to approve the agenda of the Committee of the Whole? Thank you. Councillor Rhodes, Councillor Bennett, all in favor. And the adoption of the minutes. The Committee of the Whole minutes of June the 22nd, 2021. We have a motion, please. Councillor King, Councillor Rhodes, all in favor. Thank you. And business arising from the minutes, there is none. And so we're going to move to staff reports. And our first one today is operational services. And we have Mr. McKillop is going to give us a report today. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. So today's report is on the use of pesticides within the town of Vesuvius. This report is information only. So under review, the town of Vesuvius uses herbicides and pesticides for its spraying program and generally starts in August and can continue into October. Our utilities operators are certified under the Integrated Pest Management Act to use pesticides in the following category: landscape, integrated pest management. The town uses different herbicides and pesticides for the purpose in which we are spraying for. For weed control and invasive species, we primarily use glyphosate, which is commonly known as Roundup. When spraying for aphids or plants and trees, the town uses dormant oil and insecticidal soap. Background: a brief description on the products the town is currently using and locations in which they are applied, and total amounts of product used from 2017 to 2020. Glyphosate Roundup is used for invasive plants, means a prescribed species of invasive plant listed under the invasive plant regulation, as well as to control noxious weeds, means a weed designated by regulation to be noxious weed and includes the seeds of the noxious weed. The town sprays parks, boulevards, sidewalks, and public access ways to control against invasive species such as puncture vine, sandburrs, horsetail weed, and Japanese knotweed. From 2017 to 2020, the town has used a total of 408.35 liters of Roundup. This application is mixed with the water at the calculated ratio. In regards to dormant oil, it is used to control aphids, means a bug that feeds by sucking sap from plants. It produces rapidly and causes extensive damage to crops. Dormant oil is applied around town in accordance with the label by a certified pesticide applicator. It is not a poisonous chemical to animals, birds, or humans, but is deadly to smaller insects. Dormant oils are not harmful to bees. This product is being applied to approximately 18 green ash trees throughout town. From 2017 to 2020, approximately 10 liters of dormant oil has been applied. This application is mixed with water at a calculated ratio. Insecticidal soap is used to control aphids. Insecticidal soap is considered one of the safest products to be used, virtually non-toxic. Commercial insecticidal soaps are a highly reformed version of dish soap. This product is used by the town in accordance with the label by certified pesticide applicators. This product is being applied to approximately 18 green ash trees throughout town. Under community, sales and herbicides and pesticides are regulated by federal and provincial government in accordance with the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change Act. What Health Canada is saying about the use of glyphosate is that it is the most widely used herbicide in Canada and plays an important part in weed management in agricultural and non-agricultural land management. regulation requirements for pesticides. Health Canada's objective is to protect the health of Canadians and environment through Pest Control Act and regulations. Herbicides and pesticides are subject to science-based assessments before being approved for use. So that was my report. Happy to answer any questions if there was any.
Sure, thank you very much, Mr. McKillop, and I'm sure we have lots of questions, so we will start with Councillor Rhodes. Go ahead.
Thank you, Member Cordoff. Thanks for the report. I'm reasonably familiar with Roundup, but over the last few months, there's been a fairly decent lobby in our community wondering why we use it, and even though the answers are obvious about why we use it, but I just, and when you research it online, you would think that the devil produced this and, trying to control some plague on Earth. I mean, it just seems to be the most nasty product, ever invented. I'm sure you've been exposed to that a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of rhetoric. Is there any other alternative that, we could look at or maybe experiment with a little bit and try to, reduce our use of this? And
Yeah, so, I mean, I've come up with a bunch of different solutions in my mind. I know that the term Roundup is very controversial. But also when you're out in the public and you're wearing the proper protective equipment, a respirator, Tyvek suit, whatever that may be, it's the vision as what the public sees. So you could be spraying water and the concern is still there. Nevertheless, I've actually stopped using Roundup completely at this time. Probably for the last 2 months, I've asked to halt until I've done this report. We've been using a product called Clearview. We've used it in the past and it works great. It works really good on stuff like puncture vine, which is probably the #1 thing I get complaints about within the community. Doesn't work so good on stuff like weeds on the sidewalks and stuff like that. But as far as directive that I've asked the public works operators is to utilize the tools that we have with the weed whackers, and when they're on location, take an extra 5 minutes to go around and use the weed whacker on the weeds versus spraying them. So I'm trying to limit our use in unnecessary areas, I guess you could say. But puncture vine is not something we can ignore. This product has been researched, Clearview, to be a much safer product than Roundup. I'm sure that the people applying it feel much more comfortable with it because there isn't that stereotype of health risk associated with it. So yeah, we are looking at different methods. A lot of communities have just gone to straight pulling the weeds. This is so hard to keep up, but if we go that route, unfortunately, this community will be overgrown pretty quick. So there has to be, in my opinion, some pesticide use. It's just what type we're using is, I think, the key.
that's good news.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Councillor Bennett.
Thank you, Madam. And to just talk about puncture line, if I'm going up to the golf course and I go past a high school, I turn the corner on one side of the road is the golf course in the town and the sidewalk, and you go spray that right across the road. If I walk in that little sand pit and walk out, my shoes are full of puncture.
Right.
So how do you stop if nobody's controlling the other side of the road? Those puncture lines going back on where you just sprayed.
Yeah.
Is there a thing that works together with the regional district in the town, or all those fields just kind of left?
No, I mean, the thing is, we've always sprayed pretty much everything. Because what happens with those seeds is somebody was to drive over them, or you walk, even the kids walking to school, those seeds travel and they'll spread all through town. So we've been winning the battle on it over the years, but with some recent concerns in the public, I've slowed down the use and kind of held back and did some more research on what we can do to better this community moving forward as far as pesticide use.
Thank you.
Councillor King.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, thanks for the presentation. It's kind of interesting to see the different products I see you've been using these for 3 or 4 years. Do you feel this new product you're talking about for puncture vine is definitely more effective?
Yeah, I've got confirmation, from what I would consider our lead pesticide applicator. And he's right into this whole thing of keeping this community of puncture vine off of our streets. And he confirmed with me this morning that that product is working really well. Like I say, it's not killing other types of weeds, but the invasive side of things, it's actually taking care of very well.
I mean, personally, I don't have a problem using Roundup
Yeah,
in that respect because me as an individual person go to the store and purchase it. So
right.
it can't, I mean, you gotta be aware of the toxics and in it, but
Yeah.
you can still use it. So
Yeah, I mean, again, we have 3 utility operators that are trained in the proper use of it. Respectfully, they know about the waterways and the use within the water lines, and how they should be broadcasting that spray. Again, it could be visually intimidating when somebody's wearing a
yeah,
respirator.
for sure.
But if we're using any product that is governed by the Pesticide Act, we'll make sure that we're applying it properly.
I just make one other comment. Have you made Desert Park aware of this new product that can more effective on puncture vine? Because they have thousands of them.
Yeah, I haven't made them aware of the product itself. I think their main concern is puncture vine and just getting rid of it. But obviously, and this is another sensitive area in my opinion, due to the fact that there's animals there. Horses, right now they're housing other
for sure.
animals. So if we are spraying, we need to make them aware that we are spraying, and there's a certain time frame in which you have to not be in the presence of that area. So putting up proper signage and notifying Desert Park in that aspect, but other than that, I know that they really don't want the puncture vine there.
No, I was just relating to let them know of the name of the product, so maybe they
Yeah.
can use it down the road instead of what they're using.
Right, yeah, well, we spray Desert Park. So in the area, as far as I understand, we spray,
All around the barn.
yeah, we do, yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah.
So thank you, Mr. McKillop. I'm just wondering, people that are on your staff that use these products are obviously to take some training in how to do it correctly.
Yes,
So I remember when Helen Payne was worked for the town.
Yeah.
And that when this issue came up a couple of years ago, and she sent me something that she, and I don't have it anymore, but it was a kind of a summary of the training that she had taken and
Yeah.
how she felt quite comfortable that she understood things and things were done correctly.
right,
It probably is in amongst your
Yep.
your files and so on. So that's I totally understand that why we need to spray. Because I think one of the things that maybe people don't know is that when you have to spray along sidewalks and so on, if you don't, it causes sidewalks to have some lift and upheavals, and that can be as big a problem,
Yeah.
an accident
Big
waiting to
time.
happen.
Yeah.
So I totally understand, and there are areas where there's just rocks and it's on the slope, so you can't go and pull out the weeds, so you
Right.
have to do it some other way.
Yeah.
So I certainly appreciate the fact that you found a different product and that you're using that for now.
Yeah.
It doesn't require the same masking.
oh, it does,
Oh, it
well,
does.
some products, if you read the MSDS sheets, don't always indicate specific PPE. But as an employer, my goal is to keep the employees safe for the 30 years or whatever it is of their career. Because 30 years down the road, we might find out that it wasn't good for you.
Absolutely.
So the more the better, I think, and just stay safe and do things properly.
Well, thank you very much. I'm just wondering, maybe at the end of the season in September, October, if you could come back to council with a bit of a report on how you felt things had worked for the season and what your plans were for next year.
Yeah.
When you know that, and
Yeah.
I realize you have to coordinate all of that and
Yeah.
compile all the data. So we thank you very much for coming and telling us this, makes us all understand it quite a bit better.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council.
Thank you. I should point out to anybody watching that Councilor Harvey is on holiday, which is why he is not here. And Mr. Chabot is also on holiday, so. Next up, our report is from our Director of Community Services, Mr. Davis, on occupational health and safety consultant agreement. Welcome, Mr. Davis.
Good morning, Madam Mayor, Council. As part of our delegation of authority bylaw, staff is reporting that the agreement with Tala Safety Incorporated was renewed for an additional 3-year term. Tala Safety has been working with the town for the last 3 years and have been providing exceptional service in relation to occupational health and safety. They have performed a number of training opportunities, investigated and reported on a number of incidents this past year, and they were instrumental in creating the town's COVID-19 exposure control plan. As part of the original agreement, there was a covenant to extend the agreement for additional 3 years. This past year, we had a surplus due to COVID-19 and a fewer number of visits from the consultants. In terms of the agreement, it will pay Tala Safety a fixed annual fee of $31,000 plus GST for the 2021-2022 year, $32,500 plus GST for 22-23, and $34,000 plus GST for 23-24 years. The costs for the annual fee are approved and in the current budget, and staff was just bringing this forward for information.
Thank you very much. So you have confidence in this route to continue on, obviously.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been here for 3 years, Madam Mayor, and this is going into the 4th year now. Dennis has been with us and has reported on a number of incidents. And, you know, with COVID-19 and helping us put together a plan, it was actually really good. So.
Thank you very much. Anybody have any questions? That was easy.
Yeah, just getting warmed up for this afternoon. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Davis. Okay, I do not see that we have anything else on the agenda today, so I will ask for a motion to terminate the meeting, please. Councillor King, Councillor Bennett.